Are you wanting a safe place for your kids to compete in mixed martial arts? Well, this interview might just be for you. Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. Today's guest is Phil Cassidy, who is the competition organiser for the Junior MMA Competition. It is a competition that runs in Queensland, has people from all over Australia join it as well. On June 8th and 9th, they come together. They get to partake in a seminar. This seminar, which is announced by Mr. Cassidy, is from some very established fighters, one even competing in ONE FC and doing quite well. They have a seminar and then they have a competition day, like you would with your jiu-jitsu and your boxing and all that sort of stuff. But it's for mixed martial arts, so kids can learn how to compete safely. He goes over the rule sets and why and how it's safe and how it's real and true to the competition. So I think it's a great initiative. There might be similar ideas around and whatnot, and if you know of them or you're from them and you want to come on and talk about it, great, feel free. Australian MMA _ if you want to get involved. But Mr. Phil Cassidy comes on to chat about this junior MMA competition. I think it's really cool because it's that nice little bridge from when kids learn MMA and they want to compete, but they don't want to get their little brains scrambled. So yeah, he's talking about his upcoming competition and why he's getting involved, and obviously the dotting the I's and crossing the T's and getting through all the commissions, paperwork, and what you need to do to get this stuff sort of legalized in a way, and just how much oversight. They've got legendary referees like Peter Hickmont overseeing it all, and it's all above board, and it's where we're heading in today's society, and mixed martial arts becoming the sport that it is. And of course, little kids want to get involved, and how do we get them to be the best they can be whilst also being the safest they can be? Well, Mr. Phil Cassidy is doing his part in finding a way. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the competition organiser of Junior MMA Competition, Phil Cassidy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Phil Cassidy, the, what are we going with? Junior MMA Fight Blood promoter. No, we're going the MMA organizer. And basically, well, you can explain it to everyone that's listening right now, but junior MMA, you not only are you doing grassroots for MMA, you're laying the seeds for the roots to grow. This is the very, very beginning of MMA, and you want to do it in the safest way possible.
Yeah, that's it, Mitchell. Thanks for having us on. I don't know. As I sort of said before, we'll call me competition organizer. What we do isn't, it's not a fight promotion. So with JMMAC, Junior MMA Competition, it is just that. It's a competition, just like any BJJ comp. Okay, giving the kids a platform, somewhere to, show their skill, test their skill. And to help build this, MMA in Australia,
Now, how long has JMMAC been around for?
So I held my first one in 2021, July, I think it was, June, July, 2021. So, we're only just started, really only working at the moment in Queensland, with other state regulations and everything like that might just sort of hold us off a little bit. We don't have that many issues along those lines here in Queensland. We're lucky enough to be able to do a bit. We don't have that sports commission, that combat sports commission, anything like that sort of overarching us right now. So to be able to do this is, we are lucky.
What is it for those that don't know? I mean, what's the age range? What's the rule set in terms of this competition?
Yeah, so we range 7 to 17 years. So it's an under 18s competition. We have weight divisions. We break it up into the age categories and that sort of thing. Sort of usually a couple of years in between. I think the first one's like sort of 7, 8s, 9s, but then 10, 11. 12, 13, well, up to 16, 17s. So we do no head strikes. So some people will agree with us, some people won't. They'll sort of say we're taking things away and it's not MMA. And well, they're kids. They're wearing smaller gloves. We're wearing the 7 to 9 ounce training glove, not 4 ounce. But they don't need to be punched in the head yet. My vision with it was just that, give a platform for the kids to be able to train. Like I always said, it's like you go to cricket training, but then you're supposed to play football on the weekend. So yes, you can do your BJJ comps. Yes, they had go do boxing, go do Muay Thai. You can compete in them, but I know gym owners and clubs that are running MMA classes for the kids, and that's what they're training. So that was missing, and so we looked at filling that gap with that nice, safe. Give them no head strikes. Even if the young ones they're only allowed to kick the legs. And so we've got rule sets that build as they go, and we just let them in there, sometimes in the cage, sometimes on the mats. So we sort of mix it up in between. It's just the clubs that have joined in and the coaches and families and the kids are loving it.
And how often are the competitions ran?
I run usually 4 a year. So I did have a go a couple of years ago, sort of adding a few more in, but we found sort of 4's that comfortable with what everybody else has got, with all the BJJ comps, because it's good to do them, it helps with the training. So between them and other competitions and running my own business, my own gym and that sort of thing, 4 fits in.
What's the feedback you've gotten from not just the MMA community, but just the community in general with parents and kids in sport?
Everyone who's jumping on is really loving it. We are very niche and quiet. So if you sort of don't know about us, you don't know about us, which is awesome that I can come on here with you and sort of get our name out there. I've joked a lot that we need to put a little video out there and get some Karen to blast it and get it up on 60 Minutes or something, because any advertising is good advertising. But they love it. Just so how we run it is 1 round. So that's it. It's just like a competition. You go in and you have 1 match. If you win, you go through. But we do it on a double elimination. So you're always going to get 2.
Okay.
If there's only the 2 of you in the division, there's 2 out of 3. But it's not like your promotion rounds where you do 1 round and then you have that 1 minute break. No, it's either submission, referee stoppage, or decision, and win or loser, go out, talk to your coach, get a drink. There's another match going on. You'll be back in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, something like that,
Okay. And is it, you mentioned referee stoppage. Is that very similar to like when you see in the jiu-jitsu comps where even if the kid kind of has their arm or has their neck, and even if it's not like cinched in, the ref goes, no, that's like, we've seen enough there type thing, I'll stop it. Are they very quick to jump on that?
Yeah, we do look after that as well. If you're not going to tap, we'll tap for you with the submissions. So if we think the arm's straightening out, that sort of thing, we're giving you that opportunity if you're not, actively defending. And they're told that beforehand. We have a bit of a rules meeting, that sort of thing. So they're told that the referee is there to look after you. We don't want you getting injured. But even that, again, some of them are young and sometimes they can just be overwhelmed. And so we'll step in on that. So the referees are, I'm part of MMA Australasia here in Queensland with Pete Hickmott. And so I'm using all our guys. They're all, it's even coming up and going through my rule sets and everything. I was talking to Pete. He's been a great sounding board. with regards to the rules and where to go and how to take it and how to build. And yeah, so it's something that, you know, we're also using as a little bit of development for new and upcoming referees, you know, officials, so they can get in there at that lower level, and it's looking after the kids, and just making sure that, yeah, everything goes right in there.
And how many participants have you had well, on average on each event?
Yeah, so it's been a bit up and down. You know, the first one was, I think we had 20, 21,
wow.
something like that. I've been up to 40
Wow.
at the moment. So, you know, part of the reason I was jumping on the 8th, 9th, weekend of the 8th, 9th, we're doing, you know, I thought, why not? It's been 3 years. I'll put a big name on it. But we're calling it the Australian titles. At the moment, I've got 69 kids registered.
Whoa. From all from Queensland, or?
No, I've got a team from Northern Territory, so from Darwin coming.
Oh, shout out. I'm from Darwin.
Yeah. No, Matt Chick is bringing some kids over. He did a whole like trial day for them to come in and see who'd make the team. So they're coming. I have had, I think my first interstater was from South Australia. He was, I can't remember his name offhand, but he was coming over. He'd fight on Muay Thai on the Saturday and then compete with us on Sunday, and he'd win back to back. And then Jack Power, a young kid from down in Melbourne, awesome talent. They were flying up pretty regularly. So we've had some, you know, from out of state and that sort of thing. From C4 came up for one. So yeah, so we're getting out there. The guys from Northern Territory are great. They're just like, we've got nothing, you know. They're trying to push MMA up in the territory because, you know, there's boxing, there's a bit of jiu-jitsu coming in. So they're really on the push for that. So yeah, they're supporting us flying in. You know, they're spending more on flights and accommodation than the whole team spending on just my registration. You know, what the money their parents and that are forking out, it's amazing what they'll do to support their kids.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, especially growing up in NT. Anytime we did like basketball trips, we did the Queensland Classic and all that sort of stuff. Like you had to get out, and I mean, your nearest competition when you're in Darwin is Alice Springs, which is 16 hours away by car. So it's excellent that you've got that running. In terms of registration, what does it cost for a kid to participate?
Usually, what we're looking at. So what we do is, there's not just the competition. We've got the seminar.
Yep.
So on every event, we run a seminar as well. So they get the seminar and, you know, the at least 2 rounds, 2 matches. For what have I got it up at the moment? So 75 to 90 bucks.
Oh, okay.
Depends how early they register.
That's good. And have you had much feedback on that? Because I know that at times, at least back in the day, it's not too bad now, but you would remember this as well. Back in the day when it would be like 80 bucks for a jiu-jitsu tournament, you'd roll one match at 9, you'd get subbed and you were done.
Yeah. No, well, I started it. So inflation. I started it in 2021. I think I charged $10 for the seminar and $10 to compete.
Wow.
I had a dad from Springfield, down at Springfield, come up, and we were talking afterwards, actually at Grappling Industries. And he was like, I spent more on fuel to get to you. I'm like, put the price up. So I'm spending over $100 to have my son do 2 rolls today. Is that if he gets in the cage and has at least 2 goes and gets the seminar, man, we'll spend the money. You know, what is it? Unless 10% are complaining, you're not charging enough. No one's complaining yet. So, which doesn't mean I'm going to keep putting it up, but it's, you know, for what they're getting, it is a good price.
Yeah. See, I would have said $150 would be like a good. I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. You get a little seminar as well. So, you know, if I see the prices go up, everyone, I'm sorry, but that's like, I'm feeling that. But that's good. I mean, I like that it's, you know, definitely affordable, and I like that learning aspect of it. Of the seminar that you offer, what is in the seminar?
So we get a fighter or a coach in the area. So I haven't been hosting them just in one spot either. I started at my gym. So I've got Infinity Martial Arts at Morayfield. I've got a little cage in there, it used to be the Grow Strong cage, a little 5-sided thing. And so we started there. I had Pat Cronin, who is amateur, well, now he's fought pro, MMA fighter and boxer from the North Lakes Infinity. So he came and ran the seminar for me. So they get an hour to an hour and a half, depends how long we go for, of, you know, skills, whether it be wrestling, whether it be wall work. We've had Muay Thai instructors. So I've had Ben Nguyen, so Ben 10, Dane Alkin, who's now gone from MMA to boxing, Oren Palmley, 4 of the guys at Ignite. Ryan hosted us up there, and he gave me 4 of them. There was Sean, Jake, Jamie, and Matt Fordham.
Yeah.
Right. So we had 2 of them taking half the crew for striking, 2 doing grappling, and then switching over. It worked so well.
And plus, a lot of those 10-year-olds would have been good sparring partners for Sean Gauchi as well. So
they're about the same size. Yeah, well, see, that's what we went between Ben Wynn, who got lost in the size of the kids, and Dane Alkin, who was like on his knees and still twice as tall as a 7-year-old. Yeah.
It's such a good like initiative as well. I think it's a good bridging gap, because we've all seen those like 12-year-old Russian kids fighting full-blown MMA, and you're like, that might be a bit too much. But then it's like, how do you find the gap of, like you said, you can do jiu-jitsu and boxing, but then it's like, do you have to wait until you're 15 before you put it all together? So I'm really liking this. But in terms of trying to get it commissioned everywhere else, what has to be done?
That's a future-filled problem. So yes, I can't say that it's not up here in the fog. It's not a cloud, it's a fog with me. That I do look into jumping interstate. Yeah, I have to get in touch with the local sports, Sports and Rec in New South Wales, the commission over in WA or down in Victoria, that sort of thing. Potentially the cage would be out for quite a few, which is fine. As I said, I do it as a mat sport as well. So we just set out the mat, usually try and keep one padded wall so they can use it, which, yeah, it just brings in a different sort of option for the game.
Yeah.
You know, let's work on a bit more of the ground wrestling and that sort of thing. We have sort of like an overflow area, so that's also part of what the referee's doing, just making sure that they're staying inside the competition area. And if needed, okay, stop, let's move in. But usually you sort of like herd them like sheep. And, you know, you even talk to them and it's just like, let's move it into the center, and they'll break off and go in. Like, it's great. The kids do listen. And, you know, we break it down at the start. I give them a bit of a rules meeting, just go over what they're allowed to do. And, you know, listen to your coach, the referee, you know.
And what was your main inspiration? Like, when did it click for you where you were like, man, I need to do this?
It was a weird one because, well, I was refereeing, and we were helping out with like doing the IMMAF, when IMMAF Australia was happening. So we had Oceanics and that sort of thing. And they had that rule set. They had a junior rule set, you know, IMMAF's got that no head strikes in there and that sort of thing. And it was sort of like this little, okay, well, it's there. You're putting on this competition maybe once a year, but what else is there? What's there to get them to that competition? And yeah, it was just a like that little hole in the market. Like you had the Maoki brothers on, and they mentioned Junior MMA League.
Yeah.
No good idea has not been stolen. And that's it. So my daughter Tali, we tried getting her on there. We had a couple of other kids from the gym at Ipswich. When we were down there, get on. We couldn't find her a matchup, but we went and watched, and it was a great thing. It was okay. They're doing 3 rounds, I think, from memory. One was just grappling, one was kickboxing, and one was MMA. They had headgear, and when they went to the ground, they took their headgear off. They just sort of paused, get the headgear off. Okay, let's go, because there's no strikes. And then when they stood up, they'd pause and put the headgear back on. And I saw that it waned. It sort of, for whatever reason, it stopped. And it was sort of like, well, there's this gap. There's this gap right there. And I didn't think the 3-rounder and the headgear on and this, it just seemed a little clunky. Like it worked, and it just wasn't, and that would be taking something directly from what they had. But yeah, so I looked at the IMMAF, the gamma rule sets for the juniors. And then, as I said, nothing but against steel and stuff. Ross Cameron runs Lockdown, the cage grappling comp. Yep. And he does it as a double elimination. So I've been helping out with that a heap and everything. And he was another one that I spoke to about it all and about getting it going. And it was a great idea. So I just sort of molded everything together, made it work. And yeah, and then the rest is, we're 3 years on and doing Australian titles.
Jeez. And I mean, I guess the next question is then, where do you want this to go?
I joke, what are we doing today, brain? Going to take over the world? Maybe just Australia first. But yeah, I'd like to step into other states. I'd like to get things going so that we could have like a true, I suppose, Australian titles of, kids from all over the states who have been able to compete regularly. So yeah, it's just get myself sorted up here first, get things working, try and it's more than a one-man job. So I'll need, assistance as I go along, which is great. I've got a heap of, as I said, like help from the MMA crew, guys and girls in my gym who help out, who are actually jumped on and become officials now as well. So they're all there supporting me. My daughter helps out a heap. So, I've got a good little crew that makes things work. I'm getting the support, but yeah, the more we can get it out and more people are hearing about us, especially in the other states, then we can sort of look and I'll have contacts and from there be able to find, what is the way to go to maybe make that next step.
And finally, I mean, I ask everyone this, but very rarely do I have to ask it about a company or an organization. But after it all said and done, how do you want the junior MMA competition to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
I'd just like to see it be or become, a stepping stone towards people getting in there and eventually fighting. As I say, like what we're doing now, the kids aren't fighting. They're just competing. They're in there as competitors. They're testing themselves. They're learning new skills. They're learning to, their coaches are learning stuff about them and if they're going to listen and what's needed and, learning about dealing with loss and everything there. If, one day I can sit back and know that kid on, fighting on UFC is, has come through and competed in one of my events, that'd be like amazing.
Awesome. Now, mate, before I let you go, how can everyone get involved?
So, yep, we're Junior MMA Comp on Instagram, I'm pretty sure. But if you look up JMMAC, JMMAC, we've got a website, jmac.com.au. Send me an email, phil@jmac.com.au. So we're on the social media. There is a bit of a website. We're sort of working on it at the moment. Got some people helping out with that. But yeah, we will be JMMAC Australian titles, first one, 2024, at Ignite Martial Arts on the Sunshine Coast on the 8th and 9th. Now, the 9th's going to be the main competition. Since we do have people coming in from out of state and that sort of thing. On Saturday, I'm just working all the timings out, but we'll probably have our kick check and meet and greet and the seminar on the Saturday. Now, that's one of the big things with it too. You don't have to compete to come and do the seminar.
Yeah.
You never do. I've always looked at, I'm hoping that there's more kids at the seminar than there is competing, because it means next time there'll be more kids competing.
Yeah.
You know, they come, they learn, they see what it's about, they cheer on their teammate, and, you know, then go back and go, hey, coach, I want to get in there and have a go next time. So, yeah, so with that, on the Saturday, the 8th, haven't announced it yet, so, you know, here's the platform. Our seminar instructors, so we've already mentioned one brother set, so the Mauchi brothers. Couldn't get things with them, but the next, well, probably the top brother team in Australia coming through, we have the McLarens. So you can't have lightning without thunder. So we've got Reese Lightning McLaren and his brother Mitch Thunder McLaren taking the seminar for the kids. So one FC fighter and one of the main amateur contenders in the flyweight division right now in Mitch. So yeah, it'll be a really awesome seminar. Those two are going to bring it. We're going to go a couple of hours on this one. So there's a lot of stuff going to be put across there. So it'd be a great seminar to attend.
Awesome, mate. Look, you're doing God's work. I mean, you know, if he likes fighting. But you're doing the great stuff. I love it. I think it's awesome, and I can't wait to see it grow. And obviously, I can't wait to have you back.
Cheers, Mitchell. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thanks, mate. You're a legend.